Hello everyone, friends. This is Crypto Kosher with you. It's been a while since we've had an interesting project on our radar that we can confidently work with on that has utility, is a good investment, has a strong team. NANSEN isn't a new project, which is what we'll be talking about today, but they've recently launched their own campaign where we can now farm points. I've delved into all of this and decided to record a detailed video guide to explain everything to beginners and to those who want to work with it. A little spoiler, it's definitely worth working with, even if you don't invest anything or use any paid features. At the very least, it's worth doing everything that's free and farming a certain number of points. And now I'll tell you why. What are my thoughts in general and why am I feeling pretty bullish about this project? Will we be able to score $1,000 per account? And how harshly will Nansen cut down on us? Because this very platform helps other projects which we've also worked with to filter out Sybils, identify dishonest players, bots, and so on. So we'll go through everything step by step today, but if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so and leave a like on this video. Be sure to also subscribe to my Telegram channel. There's a lot of detailed, cool, and useful information there for every crypto enthusiast. And first and foremost, I also wrote about Nansen in Telegram, so you'll find the link in the description. All right, let's get started. Let's start right away with Twitter. I believe this is an absolute must for anyone in crypto. And as for Twitter, their situation here is actually quite strong. They have a huge number of top projects, a massive inflow, and various partnerships. Well, as I mentioned earlier, most of the projects that launch usually go to Nansen and ask them to filter out Sybils, help them with the launch, and weed out any dishonest wallets. Basically, as you can see, you could scroll through this list for a very long time. These are all my acquaintances, people I follow, my own projects, and there are also a huge number of projects I don't follow, but they're here as well. Looking at the assets, we can see that it's huge, especially considering the current market phase, which is clearly not the most favorable. The activity here is more than impressive. For example, they launched a campaign on the 19th of June, just a couple of days ago, and they've already gathered 100,000 real views. And that's really, of course, awesome. There are also these kinds of things regarding reposts. Yes, the views here are, of course, not that high. But overall, they're actually doing quite well right now. But again, I want to emphasize it's this phase of the market. And most importantly, all of this is organic here. Their Twitter score is also doing well, so we won't spend any more time on Twitter. Let's first take a look at the investment. We can see that they've raised a very solid amount, $88.2 million, and right now their valuation is $750 million, which is quite impressive for this phase of the market. Their first investment round was back in 2020, during the previous cycle, the last bull run from Mechanism Capital, Skyfall Ventures, Fabric Ventures, Robot Ventures, which is a very popular fund right now, Vault Capital, and various tier 2 and tier 3 investors. And here we also see a lot of people, so-called angels. So that's clear enough. They raised only 1.2 million in total. And let's also take a look at the drop in the tab. We can see that the pre-valuation, that is the pre-valuation, was $12 million. A very low valuation, so naturally their token will most likely be very cheap. But then to raise only 1.2 million, that's a minimal amount. Next, we see that in 2021, before the final phase of the market's growth, A16Z and Coinbase Ventures also invested. You should also pay attention to Coinbase. It's a very serious fund, Mechanism Capital, Fabric Ventures, and so on. And then there are also various angel investors. And in 2021, you could say at the peak of the bull run, A16Z invested again. They like to back projects a second time. ASL was among the lead investors in this round. By the way, this turned out to be the strongest round. And so on various other funds and also a few more angels, they invested 750 million already, or more precisely, 75 million at a 750 million valuation. Very, very impressive. It was a strong round, and in total they raised 88.2 million. Now let's take a look at Arkham. Why am I comparing Nansen to Arkham? Because in fact these are two almost identical platforms where you can track wallets, smart contracts, various scammers, and all sorts of information you need in order to, well, interact with it in different ways on chain. So that's how it is. And Arkham gave out a pretty good airdrop just for registering on the platform early on when they launched their campaign. All you had to do was create an account, link your email, verify your email, and basically nothing else. For this account, they gave around $800 to $1,000 worth of Arkham tokens when they had their TGE. I received this airdrop. I'll show a screenshot now. You can take a look. I swapped it at the time, wrote about it in the channel. And after that, the token multiplied several times, not just a few. It actually went up quite a lot. And that airdrop could have turned out to be extremely substantial. After that, Arkham launched their DEX platform, and there was also a very good airdrop there. Just to note, that's with an investment of $14.5 million. Looking at the investors, we can see that they have Coinbase Ventures, Digital Currency Group, Bedrock, Angels, and Binance also invested here. Well, what used to be Binance Labs, now it's Easy Labs. And here the amount raised is unknown, but previously Binance invested directly around 2.5 million. Nevertheless, their price was 0.05, and even now their returns are very impressive. I think Binance made more than a great profit here. But there was an IO here, while over there it was just regular seed rounds. Just a moment, $14.5 million. Let's go back here once more. Here we have several times more, right? More than just a few times the investment. And here we also have Coinbase Ventures and several other funds as well. There's some overlap. And one of the top funds, in my opinion, is A16Z. They basically invest in all interesting L1S and some AI projects. It's also a very, very solid fund. So regarding the investments, we've got everything clear here. Let's move straight to the activities. We go to the website and connect our wallet. Basically, there's nothing unusual here, so you'll have no trouble figuring it out. Essentially, to participate in the drop, we need to focus specifically on points. I think that's pretty obvious anyway. And for that, we go to the points section, click on onboarding, then click here on all, and we can see exactly how we can farm these points. For example, the most basic ones we get just for activating NANSEN points. We just go to the platform, activate the points, and for that we get 20 points. Next, we create the smart alert. This is also very easy to do. We go to smart alert. For example, I selected a couple of wallets there. We mark these people and click new alert. Here we paste the actual wallet addresses, which you can find in DBank or just in any explorer. Well, you could also add some of your own wallets here. Just be careful if these are any kind of Sybil wallets, because NANSEN will spot that kind of thing very quickly. So we just take the top wallets from DBank and add them here. For example, if you want to track a minimum transaction of say $10,000, or you can specify any amount and you'll get a notification every time. By the way, even in Telegram, because it connects with the Telegram bot, in short, everything is set up really nicely. You can choose a more advanced, more serious level, or you can go with simple. Basically, it's up to what interests you more. We'll get 20 points for this as well. Let's go back to the points section and click here again. Next, we can connect our Telegram channel, and we'll also get 20 points for that. You can also link your portfolio, meaning your wallet, and you'll get 20 points for that too, as well as for adding any token to your watch list. So for all this, we'll get at least 100 points. And this is basically free, something we can easily farm on this platform. Next, it gets even more interesting. Here we can purchase a subscription that gives us various advantages, including the ability to track wallets. Basically, it allows us to work with this platform. And of course, most people won't actually use these features because people buy these subscriptions mainly to farm the drop. That's pretty much obvious. And roughly speaking, we're just investing some amount of liquidity in order to farm the drop. You can compare this whole thing to YT tokens, where we burn a certain amount of stable coins just to farm the drop. And I think the mechanics here are more or less comparable to that. I click on Earn with You, and we see that there are different plans, right? There's the free plan, which is our basic one. It gives us basic features, managing crypto assets through NANSEN portfolio, EVM and non-EVM chains, wallet exploration, and basic access to token analytics. So basically just the basic features. Next is Pioneer. This is probably the most popular plan right now. It offers a bit more features. It costs $99, well, $100 per month, or $1,200 per year. A lot of people choose it because it's relatively, let's say, affordable. And with it, people can also farm points on quite a significant amount. And then there's the most expensive one, Professional, which is the one I chose for myself. Yes, just to be clear, it's definitely not a cheap pleasure, but still, farming points with this plan turns out to be quite substantial. Obviously, here you get all sorts of perks like access to the alpha community, your own NANSEN AI agent, team discounts, and early access to new releases. In short, there's a lot included. I doubt I'll actually use most of these features though. But still, my goal is to farm the drop. And of course, you can choose to pay monthly, or you can pay for a whole year at once, which is very expensive for 6 months. Basically, just consider your own risk management. Right now, the market isn't in the best phase, so maybe it makes more sense to consider the Pioneer plan. Yeah, well, the Professional plan is really more of a whale level thing. And here, It's just extremely expensive, which makes sense. If you choose a longer subscription period, the price per month is lower. Let's take a look at the monthly option, for example, and see what it looks like. I can downgrade to Pioneer. I can check my current subscription plan. Another cool thing is this. For example, if I want to buy this plan, I have a promo code. So let's say you want to buy it, you've already decided, let's probably go with Pioneer after all, but I can't because then we'd be downgrading. Yeah, and you want to buy it, I have a promo code, here it is, Crypto Culture, which you can enter and get an extra 10% discount with this promo. So if you pay for a year, you'll save about $1,200. If you pay monthly, well, that's 120. Not bad, I think, not bad at all. The team set this up as a bonus and made personalized promo codes, just so you know, so why not take advantage of it? Okay, so we figured out the subscription. What does it actually give you? Basically, for every dollar you spend on the subscription, you farm 10 NXP points. It's not hard to calculate. So for $100 from an investor, we get 1,000 points per week. Interesting? I think it is. And this way we'll be farming a lot more because you can also farm points in other ways. We'll talk about that in a moment too. But the subscription is still the foundation. The platform puts special emphasis on it, and it might even act as a multiplier. So I hope it pays off because $100 a month over some period of time, since the campaign here runs until the 30th of September, you need to do the math as well. That means you'll spend at least a couple $100 if we're talking about the Pioneer, the mid-tier subscription. Okay, let's move on and see what else we can do to earn additional points. Here, we can stake liquidity. There still aren't that many chains available because they only launched recently. Yeah, but from what's available now, let's take a look at what assets are here and what can already be added. And I've already spread some out myself since time is ticking. Why not start farming? By the way, here, the updates aren't very prompt points, are added about a week later. And here, as you can see, my balance is at 0, even though I've already deposited near, and there are certain nuances with some coins. As for what you can stake, well, Ethereum isn't available here yet, which is surprising given its popularity. You can stake Starknet, Avalanche, Cosmos, or the Sui ecosystem here. Personally, I deposited near, and as you can see, so basically staking here isn't done directly. Like, for example, when you can just go and stake Solana, yeah, we just click stake, my wallet is already connected, and we can easily connect a stake directly on the platform without any issues. For example, projects like Near work this way. You click stake and it redirects you to their platform's website. Well, it's basically their subsidiary site, right, where we can stake directly using their validator. That's it. So I staked, deposited without any issues, and in theory it's already counting my points. I checked with the team and they confirmed that everything is being counted, but I'll only see how many points are added after a week. Okay, I think they'll add Ethereum soon. That's why I'm really looking forward to being able to stake my holding Ethereum. And in general, they'll probably add something else too, because the team says it's still at such an early stage and more networks and support will be added later on. Okay, so regarding staking, we figured out that you get about 900 NXP from $1,000 per week. It also depends on the chain, because different chains give out different amounts of points. They have their own kind of math here. We don't know exactly what the yield will be here, but it's roughly like that. So for $1,000, that's 900 NXP per week. Okay, next we see that for staking $1,000, we get a one-time reward of 900 points, which is also really cool. And that's pretty solid. Then, if we stake more than $20,000, we get a 2x boost to NXP farming. And if we're whales, staking more than $100,000, we get the maximum boost of 3x. That's definitely very solid. I think overall this will turn out great. As usual, whales will earn the most. Well, that's pretty fair actually. Next, we also get farming rewards for referrals. The referral program here is of course pretty minimal. We get 1 point for every dollar our referral subscribes with. So basically, it's not particularly interesting, and that's pretty much it. I think they'll add more tasks, maybe social ones, or maybe something else for on-chain activity, like for how cool our wallet is. It would actually make sense to do that, since Nansen is based on that after all. So it's quite likely that they'll give points for gas spend, or for interactions with other chains, or for how long your wallet has been active and how active it is. But these are just my own thoughts. Maybe it'll end up being something different. Anyway, you can go to the platform and see what they have here. With Nansen Provider, we can analyze a lot of different information. It's actually really cool, very useful, very interesting. You can find cool, interesting whale wallets. I love things like this because, well, it's something you really need, yeah. There's a certain utility here for the community, for people, for different projects, for businesses, and so on. And most importantly, they have a good team, solid investment, and seemingly a very good risk-reward ratio. That's why I'm recording this video, explaining things in more detail so you can do your own research and decide for yourself whether you want to farm the drop or not. By the way, I only have 100 points here so far. In a week, when I get rewards for staking and also for my subscription, I'll show you how much I managed to earn. I'll write a post about it on Telegram. I'm just curious to see how much I can farm. And from there, we'll use that as a reference to at least roughly understand how much you can earn per week. Plus, I also want to stake some ATOM. I'm waiting for ETH. And the farming rewards will be much higher, much nicer. I definitely wouldn't skip this activity, especially right now, because as I said, there's no one in the market, nobody wants to do anything. And on top of that, spending any money on some subscriptions, people think it's all kind of crazy, but nevertheless, platforms like these often reward their early users, the users who stick with them through different campaigns. And Arkham basically proved that to us. Everything was free on Arkham, but there were also paid tools there. Next, we were providing liquidity on IDEX, on the futures. That turned out to be a very profitable story. I think this one will turn out just as good, especially with that kind of investment. You see, it's just their image, it's their reputation. And if they simply don't reward their early users in any way going forward, how are they going to move forward? In reality, only with projects. But as we can see, they need users too. That is, regular retail users who can also be engaged with. That's why I'm definitely participating in this activity, and I like the project. But if you found this helpful, friends, please give it a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments what you think about Nansen. Will it be a flop or the airdrop of the century? I'd be interested to read your thoughts. And as always, I wish everyone profits and goodbye to all.